Cannon with the Avon Group, and I'm here with Mark Renz, and we're talking about everything. And one of my favorite things to ask people when we're talking about business, who is your ideal client?
So that's a good one. My ideal client is, and this is true whether it's commercial or residential, but is someone who's really interested in kind of exploring the architecture of what they're trying to do. So in commercial work, that can be, if it's more focused on interiors, let's say, that could be more about the finishes, design, often cases, where are they going to spend the money at the reception area, things like that. And being able to do something kind of cool and fun, right? If they like doing, little bits of fun. With residential stuff, it's interesting because, again, those projects are where people are going to live, right? So the biggest thing for me is that they're open in terms of, number one, what they tell me, right?
You mean open to have questions asked?
Really kind of everything. So the first thing is that they're open enough to share, hey, this is how we live, this is what we do, right? Which seems like a pretty basic thing, but sometimes, and it just depends on the personality, sometimes it's a little harder to drag it out of them, right? And you don't find out till 3 months in. So having that kind of initial open discussion is great. Sometimes it's funny when you have, both spouses or partners and they're kind of hesitant when they're talking. They're like, well, I'd really like to do this, but she thinks differently, and as long as they can both express that helps, because then I can say, okay, look, here's the 2 sets of ideas that you guys had. You may not agree on them. That's cool. But let me digest that and let me come back with some thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you tell me whether it's good or not, because I try to tell people all the time when I meet them, I say, look, I'm here to work for you. This is your design, your involvement. It's not just me saying, this is what you need. It's not. It's very much an organic give and take relationship until we get to a point where they're happy. So having that openness to have those discussions and that being forthright with stuff, it's incredibly helpful.
It's super important, and I couldn't agree more. I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about when your ideal client is your ideal client because you can ask the direct questions and they actually answer.
Yes.
Or you ask the questions and they avoid giving an answer.
Yeah.
Why would someone do that if you're trying to give them value and add value by guiding? If you ask a question and they don't give direct information, how can you ever lead them to where they need to be?
Yeah.
And that's very fascinating to me. If someone hires you for your experience and your expertise, but then they won't give you straight answers, how can you ever get them to where they want to be and achieve their goals for them? It's a very interesting sort of dance to play.
It is.
Why would someone want to play a game with an asset such as building a house or building a building or buying real estate? It's a very interesting concept.
I think just being able to read the being able to read the personalities, I can usually tell within the first couple minutes of meeting someone what they're going to be like to work with. I don't think people do it out of any bad intention. Sometimes some are a little just more closed in, and you have to realize that when you meet them. Okay, they're a little bit more reserved. Let me figure out how can I break down those barriers and work with them without making them feel, if they're a little more introverted, making them feel so they're not uncomfortable. Some folks are just very driven and hard-headed is not the right word, but they have everything.
Might be.
Yeah,
no,
I mean, it could very well be. But they have everything predetermined. Hey, I want this wall to be 1 foot over here. I want this to go here. And I'm like, all right, well, let's talk about how do you want the space to function, and kind of go from there. So, it's interesting. You try to read personalities. It's like everything else. It's you're trying to find a way for them to like you, for you to like them, and be able to have a really good relationship when you work through it and walk away at the end.
It's that feeling, that hospitality feeling.
That's exactly what it is.
It
really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And, you want to have a good relationship with everybody, and your clients and business and partners and your team. So trying to find a way to work that in, you're not just trying to do whatever your business is. Mine happens to be architecture, right? But everybody's trying to do that. You're trying to develop that relationship to make whatever the project is, one or a group of projects or a large client, you're trying to make that successful, and you have to read their personality to work with them. So, kind of helps you sort of nail down in the beginning who you think will be a good client, who won't.
Yeah, it's a great philosophy, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark.
Sure. Thank you very much.